Most traders focus on strategy, but ignore the one thing that could absolutely destroy even the best of setups, and that's news. News might not be part of your setup, and honestly, it wasn't part of my trading strategy, and honestly still isn't. But if you're not aware of news, you could possibly be taking trades that are completely doomed from the start. For example, if you had a short setup on oil in the past few weeks, that trade was doomed from the beginning. Now, a lot of traders check X for news, and I have a little bit in the past, but the problem is that the information is inconsistent. You don't know when it comes out, and there's so much noise when you go on X, and you don't really know who to listen to. I mean, like, we can always listen to Trump, right? Like, that's the main one we want to be watching out for these days. But in saying that, you don't know what's reliable, what's not, what's going to actually affect the market, what's relevant, and even just to get to those details, it can be an absolute pain. So I started using two popular news sites. One is called Financial Juice and the other is called Forex Factory. And in this video, I'm essentially just going to compare the two and just kind of give my opinion on them a little bit. And it's honestly not really to say one is better than the other, but just to kind of let the novice traders know what's available to you out there, but also kind of the difference between the two. I'm lucky that I have my trading community to help me with this, so that's why I figured it would only be fair to share this with you guys to hopefully help the novice traders that may not know where to look for news yet. Okay, so let's start with Financial Juice. You can get Financial Juice on an app or use the website. I personally like the app because it has push notifications, which is amazing. So you don't have to feel like you have to keep checking news every hour of the day. It will tell you when the news releases. The news itself on Financial Juice is actually really nice and easy to read. It's normally one-liner, gets straight to the point, and there's nothing much to it. Financial Juice also has a calendar where you can essentially check what sort of events are coming up currently in the financial markets. For example, this could be CPI, right? So you can actually be aware of it, which was super handy for me because I'm so busy that I couldn't really keep up. When is CPI? When is this news event happening? When is unemployment rates being released? There was nothing that I needed to keep track of. I could just check it quickly every day, and it had the answer for me then and there what we are seeing in the next week, which was just super helpful. All right, so now let's look at a different news site, which is Forex Factory. Forex Factory is totally web-based, so it's the only way you can actually access this particular news site. But essentially, main difference is because it's on a web page, you don't actually get any push notifications. What that means is you do have to continuously check it if you do want to see news, which can be a little painful for some people who don't like to just spend all their time looking at the news. However, when it does release news, it is very detailed. It is normally a whole page full of the news event, what's kind of happening at that particular time. It kind of leads more to your standard journalism side of news, which, depending who you are, you might like this, you might not. I personally can sometimes feel like, hey, can we get to the point here? What's actually happening? Which can get a bit frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's really nice to be able to know a little bit more details, especially if you're a little bit new to the news space, right? Because when I first started, if I looked at Financial Juice and it just said something and I was like, I'm not really sure what that means, it was really good to pop over to Forex Factory and kind of see a bit more of a breakdown and see what's going on. And I was able to copy some things and kind of put it into ChatGPT and really try and understand what the news actually meant for me. And that was helpful. Like Financial Juice though, Forex Factory also has a calendar so you can kind of see what sort of economic events are coming within that week or month. The good thing is both of them are completely free and you can filter based on what you trade, but also what news outlets you prefer. For example, if you feel like a news outlet is not really reliable or they're one-sided with the economy or whatever it may be, it really gives you a chance to kind of pick what you actually want to be hearing, which really helps from what I was saying before, where X is just there's a lot of noise, right? And we don't have time, especially if you're learning to trade and you probably have a full-time job. Nobody wants to sift through all the news events. We really want to nail in on the ones that are actually important to us, which leads me to the fact that both actually filter their news events, with red being high impact news, orange being medium impact news, and yellow being low impact news, which again gives you the chance to go straight to the high impact news, the important stuff that you need to be reading, and then kind of read the other stuff later if it's even worth reading based on what you trade, etc. Overall, I kind of found that Financial Juice is probably leaning more towards your short-term traders, people who don't really trade off news that often and not really trading those huge swings or even investing. So therefore, they just want that quick news event, kind of understand what's being released and what was the outcome of that release, and that is it. They're not spending their time analyzing analyzing that sort of data and trading based off of it. So it's just a quick and easy way to get the news so you still understand some sort of directional bias within the market. Whereas Forex Factory, obviously being so much more in depth, even when it comes to the statistics, they are very, very long, and it has a lot more numbers that are presented on there. And I think that's why it's kind of built more towards people that are long-term trading or investing. So it just depends on what kind of suits your style, which might depend on what you personally use. For me, I actually have been using both because I like the notifications that Financial Juice gives, because again, I'm working full time, I'm super busy, I can't look at the news 24/7, and it's just good that you always get a notification. Even when you're trading, it's nice to get that notification. But I have found that sometimes I do want more information, and therefore when I am trading, I will have Forex Factory up and actually look at that, especially if it's in between trades, nothing's really happening. I am looking at seeing what's going on Forex Factory. I actually had one trade, I was long in oil, where then news hit and I had one 5-minute candle completely take me out of that trade. And it was such a good trade. I believe I was about 1.5 hour in profit. It was going great. It looked positive. It was totally bullish, bullish price action. And it just went against me like that. And I was like, I do not understand what happened there. And my guys on the live said, look at Forex Factory. We just had news to say that they had some supplies somewhere and they're releasing some. If I had known that, I could have got out of that trade. Instead of just trading based on my strategy, I would have been like, oh, this is news completely against me. I can see it already going against me. Let's just get out at break even or a little bit in profit because this trade is not worth being in anymore. But I missed out on that because I wasn't focusing on news at this point. And that's why I really wanted to share this with you guys, because I feel as though I've realized how important news is. Even if your strategy and your entry criteria, exit criteria doesn't depend on news, it's so important to understand what the market is doing and what's the sentiment in the market. And this also leads to game theory, which was actually my previous video. So if you do want to check it out, I will leave that one here. Otherwise, if you guys do want to try out these news platforms, I will leave the links down below. Again, they are free. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.